Well, hello. This is Kathy of kathysright.com, and welcome. I'm giving this a shot. I'm not so sure it's going to work. It's live. For some reason, everything about my computer's not working today, so I'm going to give this a shot. Hello there. This is Kathy of kathysright.com, and I'm on Spreaker today. So, violence is soaring. Democrats are running these cities into the ground. A mother is shot in the head for saying all lives matter. Isn't that some shit? I don't get that. This is becoming a topsy-turvy world. I keep seeing videos of my people beating up each other, beating up strangers. I don't understand why I'm seeing them all of a sudden, but it sure seems to be happening a lot. And as a black woman, I find it completely embarrassing. I am embarrassed. Those are not my people. No. I mean, it was one thing when they abandoned me because I decided to vote for Trump. But I've been a Republican for a long time, so it's no surprise to my family. But now, these bozos, these horrible people, who raised them? Were they raised by wolves? I would like to know that. If you know that, let me know. I'm going to open this up to Skype for the next time I have to do this loud, and then you can call in through Skype, and that would be fun. But so when all of this mayhem is happening all around the world, and all these Democrat-run cities like Seattle and New York and Chicago and LA, and all of this nonsense is happening, even in Florida. There were some girls who attacked a ticket agent. And there's nothing in this world that a ticket agent could possibly say that would warrant an attack. But there you have it. People are feeling emboldened. They watched the riots just like you and I did. They watched all the mayhem, the pandemonium, the plandemic. And it's really just Black Lives Matter trying to take advantage of an opportunity that everybody's shut in, and they're not going to have too much fight back. They were just waiting for something to happen. George Floyd was just a convenient part of a plot. He was a reason for them to come out of their doors or their dormitories or wherever they live and go out in the streets and create havoc, chaos. And of course they did it intentionally. So when all of this is going on and people are feeling fearful and scared and buying more guns, I know I checked my ammo to make sure I had plenty. I didn't know what was going to happen. I live out in the suburbs. I have deer running in my yard. I guess I'm not in any danger, personal danger, but it really does make one wonder when you're closed in for such a long time. And so what I have come to the conclusion is that the world has gone mad. Everybody but me. I always knew it. I always felt like Marilyn on the Munsters. Do you remember the Munsters? On the Munsters, Marilyn was actually the normal one, but her family treated her like she was weird because they were all so bizarre. And that's how I feel in this world, really. I feel like I'm the Maryland. I'm really the normal one. Everybody else is just crazy nuts. That's how it really is. But with all of this happening, well, people dying. Oh my gosh, a baby in a stroller got shot in New York. So, and you know, that brilliant, and I mean that facetiously, that brilliant mayor they have in New York, de Blasio, he just let out 2,000 criminals from prison to protect them from coronavirus. He lets out the prisoners. He didn't tell us, what crimes they commit. I mean, I'm sure some of them were violent crimes. So not only that made us feel less than safe, right? And then there's mayhem on the streets. Less than safe. Who wants to go walking through New York or Chicago or LA right at this given moment? But to make matters worse, he's going along with the Black Lives Matter organization in asking for defunding of our police officers. Yes, sure, when you have chaos and mayhem, of course you want the police to be weaker. He has had a heavy hand restraining the police officers in New York City from doing anything significant during the entire riot escapade. And they were beaten and pelted and treated with disrespect. And we saw it on TV. It was humiliating. It's no wonder so many police officers are retiring at record numbers. I would too. Because all they wanted to do was serve. But, you have to have somebody to back you up. Like when Giuliani was the mayor, he backed the police officers up. He backed them up. And they backed him up. And crime went down. But de Blasio, he's all kinds of stupid. I just don't get that kind of idiocy. And he is very much like Joe Biden. They stay in their little hovel, hidden from the world because, they really can't cut the mustard. And then they come out like groundhogs do. On Groundhog Day, this is like another Groundhog Day. They come out, and if they see their shadow, basically, if they see if the riots are still going on, is everything okay? And then they go back and hide, like groundhogs. So if they see their shadow, I guess that means 6 more weeks of mayhem and robbery and looting and people misbehaving. I mean, it's worse than misbehaving. What I saw was people being vile, doing vile things. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm surprised that God didn't put a heavy hand on this country while watching that, because it just reminded me of Sodom and Gomorrah. People are doing evil, awful things to one another. And it's condoned and emboldened by people like Mayor Bill de Blasio. So it's Groundhog Day all over again. De Blasio, did he see his shadow? Is he going to come back out? Oh, he did come out for that wonderful photo op. You know the one where he is painting, I guess he's locking arms with the Black Lives Matter movement. And that is a terrible movement. I'm a black person. I do not condone that movement. It has a great slogan, though. Whoever came up with that name, brilliant. Brilliant. Black Lives Matter. So when you say it, you feel like you're being compassionate. It sounds like you're being loving. But it has nothing to do with the organization. The organization is a Marxist organization that wants to overthrow the government. Literally. I think most people, we are done with their nonsense. If you're like me, we're all done with them. We're not lowering ourselves to them. They think it's the wild, wild west right now. They're having their fun. They are behaving horribly. And I'm not just embarrassed about it because I'm black. I'm embarrassed as an American that we have sunk so low that we allow this to happen. As a culture, as a society. This is the base, the bottom of the barrel. The bottom of the barrel. Bottom feeders. I'm not just trying to insult them. I'm just describing them to you the way that I actually see them. These are bottom feeders. I didn't say they weren't human. They are. But they are traitors to this country. Traitors. There's not too many other ways to describe it. They're not peaceful protesters. Painting that awful sign, Black Lives Matter, near the Trump Tower. They did that, of course, to stick it to Trump, right? But then they're going to be stuck with that ugly sign. It's ugly. It's taxi cab yellow. And it's hideous. You would think they would put that effort towards fixing all the potholes in New York. I mean, I lived in Connecticut. I used to go to New York to go shopping because it was fun to go shopping in New York. I loved New York. That was in the 80s, though. I wouldn't go there now. For what? Why would I? What do I need so badly that I have to go to New York? Nothing. I have everything I need right now, right at this very moment. And most of us do. Most people are just not happy with what they have. I'm very happy. I think that the thing is, they say the richest people are the people who need the least. And I believe that to be true. If you don't need a lot of stuff, then you have everything you need. I go to the store now and I'm looking at these cute clothes. I'm thinking, wow. I'm like, I have a lot of these. My closet is full. Why would I buy yet another outfit? Unless something wears out or something. There's no reason. And besides, everything looks ugly when you're wearing that mask anyway. And if you want to go into a building, they're making you wear those masks. So what's the point of dressing up or dressing nicely even? Right now, it's just covering yourself up so you can not be obscene when you go out. You're just covering up right now. because nothing looks good with that mask on. I don't care how you dress it up. It's really just sad. I'm like, what's the point? We're not going anywhere. We aren't doing anything. What's the point of putting lipstick on with that stupid mask? And I can hardly breathe. Can you breathe? Yeah, I thought this whole thing started with that guy because he couldn't breathe. Now none of us can breathe. And I don't think George Floyd had much to do with it. It could have been Timbuktu. It could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. They were just looking for an opportunity. And you couldn't have picked a worse martyr. I mean, if you're going to have a martyr that you're going to, do murals of, don't pick a porn star. He wasn't even a porn star. He was probably a co-star or maybe an extra in a porn movie. And he's also, a drug addict. That doesn't make him less human. I mean, I know humans are humans and they make mistakes. And he did not deserve to die at all. And certainly not at the hands of a peace officer. So that was all kinds of wrong. Everybody knows that. We all knew that, but that didn't matter to Black Lives Matter people. And of course, they're being funded by people like Soros. There are a lot of big companies now sending them checks. Do they know who they're sending the money to? The Marxists don't want these corporations to make money. Soon they're going to be coming for them. Just like they came for that couple. The ones that had the guns. I think it was the McCloskeys. They came for them. And the McCloskeys are liberal. They had previously been pro Black Lives Matter. That tune quickly changed, didn't it? Yeah, they don't talk about that too much. But he was a lawyer, and he had something in his office that showed that he was supportive of Black Lives Matter. But I think people who say it and support it, they cannot know. If you knew what they were about and what they were trying to do, they're trying to dismantle the nuclear family. They want the village to raise your family. The village. Led by the village idiot, Bill de Blasio. Or Governor Newsom. So that is not a good plan. And that is not a ship I'm going to get on. A boat. That's not a ship. That's a boat. Because they're outnumbered and they are outgunned. What do they think they can do by the time they get out to the suburbs? You think those sticks and those bricks are going to do you much good with bullets? Because old folks aren't going to waste time with those people. Old folks, if they feel threatened, they're just going to get a gun and shoot them. They are not going to mess around. They're not going to try to duke it out with a 6-foot, 22-year-old goon. Why would we do that? We're old. The only way we can defend ourselves is with our firearms. So they're making a tragic mistake trying to spread their misery outwards. They better keep that stuff in the inner city. And then that's another beef I have. I have a beef with the inner city people of New York because they are radical, not all, but most. I would say the very most part. They are liberal. And they hate Trump. And that's kind of a big club now, the Hate Trump Club. I love President Trump. He is the best president that has ever been in my lifetime in charge of this country. The best. And he's doing it for us. He is receiving no money, no funds. In fact, his businesses have lost money. As a result, he is making great sacrifices to serve this great nation, to put us on the right path. He is not a perfect man. Anybody with eyes can see he's not a perfect man, but he's the right man for this job. And I don't even mind him being braggadocious, because wouldn't you be? If 24/7 the news media is always trashing you, cutting down everything you do, making you look like you're incompetent when he's doing everything at the rate. I mean, he did more in 3 years than Obama did in 8, that's for sure. More for this entire country, not just portions of the country. Another reason I love Donald Trump is I remember I wasn't golfing at this point. I'm a golfer now, but back then I wasn't golfing yet. But back in 1993, or was it 92? That's when Donald Trump was remodeling Mar-a-Lago. And he was trying to make it really nice, and so he can compete with the other golf clubs around Palm Beach. And when they found out that he was not going to have his club restricted, which means most golf courses back in the day were restricted, meaning they didn't allow blacks or Jews, in some cases Catholics, to become members of their clubs. Sometimes they would take our money just to play golf, but definitely not for blacks or Jews. And me being a black Catholic, that's a double whammy. And then women too. I mean, you have to realize women in golf, it's relatively a new thing. It's relatively new. It wasn't always the case. They fought tooth and nail to keep women out of the golf clubs. And then women found it very fun to play golf. And I found it fun too. I didn't always feel this way. I loved making fun of my husband and his passion for golf. And I told him, I said, it was like watching paint dry. You know, why would you watch that on TV? It would just seem so. Now I'm obsessed. And I totally get it. But for those of you who don't like golf or make fun of people because they golf or put a president down because he's out golfing, because it's like they're trying to stick it to you. Oh, yeah, and Trump is out golfing. Like it's a great sin to golf. It's a passion. It's a humbling sport, but it's one of those sports that when you do it right, it makes you come back for more. And then it humbles you all over again. But you learn to love it. But speaking of golf courses, so he opened his golf course to blacks and Jews and Catholics. And so the city kept denying his permits for the remodeling. You know, you have to have a permit for just about anything you change. And they kept denying his permits. And so he would get frustrated because he couldn't open up while remodeling and fixing the place up until he had the permits. You know how it works. You know, you start building until something goes awry. It doesn't have to go awry even. The city comes out and says, oh, that's not the way we want it. You have to do it this way to get your permit. And then they halt production and construction, and you have to fix it, and then you can continue. Well, they kept doing that ad nauseum because he was going to open up his club. And he would have been the only, he's not anymore, but at the time, the only golf club in Palm Beach, or even near Palm Beach, that would not have been restricted. So him doing that, and he got frustrated because he knew it had something to do with racial and cultural differences, because he's from New York. He's used to being around all kinds of culture. I mean, New York is kind of like the UN. It's just so many different ethnicities. I mean, you don't know who you're talking to as far as where they came from. I mean, their accents are also different, and there's so much. It's a very rich cultural place. So coming out of New York, and he's, I think, from Brooklyn, and opening up that golf course and getting it going, and they denied him, and he knew that was why. So what he did was he sent every member of the city council a copy of the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Do you remember? It had Sidney Poitier. He played the young man who was going to marry this white girl, and they go to dinner at her parents' house because she wants to meet him. And it was all about how they were nervous for her and to meet him because it was, I think, the late 60s. And he was the look of Hope the First. So good for you, President Trump. Good for you indeed. So with all of this happening and in New York, and the mayor contributing to the defacing of public property with the terrorist group. If those things weren't bad enough, now they want to defund the police too. We need our police, especially with all this mayhem. And instead of defunding, give them more money so we can have more police. That would fix your problem. Less police, more problem. But that doesn't go with how the Democrats usually do things. That's what surprises me. Normally, when a Democrat does something or makes a decision and they find a problem, they say, well, we're going to fix it. And it always involves throwing a lot of money at it. Point in case. Let's say, oh, little Johnny isn't doing well in school. Let's pay the teachers more. because that's going to miraculously make Johnny smarter and the teacher's going to do a better job because she just got an increase in her pay. Doesn't work like that. But that's the going thing for the Democrats. Just throw money at it. Throw money at it. Throw money at it. So any problem they throw money at. Or they start a study. Like the reparations, throw money at it. And that's such an illogical thing, the reparations. So it's not true to form for them to say take money away, because they're just being punitive now. They're trying to punish the police for what? For the guy in Minneapolis? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody thinks it makes any sense. And some of the worst crime going on is right there in Brooklyn. Well, let's see. Isn't that where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Could it be that that's her district? Let's see. Oh, yes. She blames the trials of that city and the people looting and robbing and pilgrimage. What do you call it? Pilgrimage. What is it? Pilfer. Oh, it's one of those words with a P. Anyways, she was thinking, she says to us, no, these are just people who are out of work. It's all because of unemployment that they're behaving this way. Like they're just going into the store to steal some bread to bring home for their little kids. No, they're breaking windows, stealing TVs and Nikes, and they're not bringing anything home to their little kids. I didn't see anybody carrying any bread in any of the videos I saw. And I saw a lot of them. So Ocasio-Cortez is in La La Land. She lives in La La Land. And she says unemployment is the reason. If unemployment is the reason, then you're to blame, Ocasio-Cortez, because it was her doing that prevented Amazon for opening up a plant there, a place where they can process orders. That would have been thousands of jobs for inner city New York. Thousands of jobs. But because of her, they had to move somewhere else. They had to go somewhere else and give everybody else those jobs. And so those high-paying jobs with benefits, those people don't have because of you, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Because of you. So that's her legacy. That will be her legacy. If she gets reelected, they deserve what they get in New York. If they reelect that girl, they'll deserve what they get. And I also anticipate, with great joy, I anticipate there will be a lot of Democrats jumping ship. They don't want to be Democrats anymore because they don't want to be associated with all the heathens out there looting and criming and doing all these things and being violent. Would you want to be associated with that? I don't even want to claim them as my people. So Democrats are, and have you checked out their pages? I check out the Facebook pages and Twitter pages of people who no longer speak to me, just so I can see what they're up to. I mean, what must they be thinking? They're on their side. It's their side that's doing all this damage. And guess what? Crickets. They're not saying anything about it. They're not saying anything about the children that are dying. They're not saying anything about the people that are getting shot. 28 people got shot last weekend, just in New York. I lost count with Chicago because they don't want to be associated with it. So when election time comes, I'm thinking either they're going to go in because they're so excited about Joe, and nobody, believe me, nobody is excited about Joe. So they're going to do that, or they're going to stay home. And because they hate Trump so much. My bet is they're going to stay home. So that's why they want the mail-in voting. Because they know they're going to stay home. Plus, mail-in voting makes it easier for them to cheat, because they always do. I mean, they do, and they lie. Lie, steal, and cheat. That's their thing. So when they cheat, I'm not saying if, when they cheat, it will be easier for their lazy asses to cheat, because it's all mail-in ballots. But we're not going to get their way. They're not going to get their way. So we've already got mail-in ballots for the most part for people who travel, people who live in several places. They already have mail-in ballots, but it's voluntary, not mandatory. And I anticipate there are going to be a lot of Democrats that are not going to vote this time. There's just no enthusiasm for Joe. How could there be? So I hope this has been entertaining in some way. This is my first time doing a live show since I started this. I think I did live shows when I first started, but I have so much more to say. I've got 3 scripts of topics that I need to cover because my computer hasn't been working right. I don't even know if this one will come out okay. But just so you know, I love you. I love America. God bless America. Stay prayed up, and we'll see you soon. Or talk to you soon. I don't know. Let's try the video thing again. This is Kathy of kathysrights.com. Bye.